Welcome to another episode of AEC Unplugged. I am your host, Danielle Gray. Happy Friday. How's it going? And if it's a replay, feel like it's Friday. That's okay. Also, if you are just tuning in and never have joined us for AEC Unplugged before, this is where we have intimate discussions with thought leaders and we talk about trends, strategies, tips, tricks, in just an intimate, light way. The whole point is for you to meet these thought leaders, to understand them, and meet them as people. So that's what we're here for. There's a couple of things that I want to go through before we jump into this really awesome episode. One is if you are interested in watching previous episodes, because this is episode 6, we've been moving through. Okay, we have those available for you on YouTube. There's a playlist, AEC Unplugged. I highly encourage you to watch those episodes. We have AI, we talk about wellness, we talk about networking, we talk about email, we talk about so many things in just the last 5 episodes. So this one is very special as well. We're going to be talking about presentation skills and yeah, more on that, but I'm going to keep on going with a few of my announcements. So SMPS is all about lifelong learning. And so we have a few different programs. It would be remiss if I did not mention some of them. So one is Pinnacle Learning. So if you are a AEC growth professional that is looking for some really good content, learning for middle management, that 10 plus year professional, that's a really great way to learn and dive in. That is actually Pinnacle Learning is online, and then we have the Pinnacle Experience, which is highly recommended. That's going to be in person in November. We also have Amplify AEC. If you are going to be in Salt Lake City, say something in the comments. Also, just tell me where you are. If you're joining in live, tell me where you are. Where are you in the world? Because I'm open. It doesn't have to just be in the States, right? Also, we just had a really great webinar yesterday. It was about mastering budgets. And as you know, if you're a marketer, business developer, whomever and however you work, it's important for us to understand the numbers and understand the budget. So please take a look at that. We always have our on-demand webinars. It was live, but you can always rewatch. So do that. We have some learning labs coming up as well. Those are free to all SMPS members. So SMPS members, mark your calendars. And if you're not an SMPS member, become a SMPS member, okay? And then finally, we have another webinar coming up. It's called Why People Aren't Doing What You Want Them to Do and What You Can Do About It. And I don't know about you, but that definitely was interesting to me. And mostly because, side note, it's my dad presenting it. So if you want to know how I am or where I get it from, I get it naturally. Okay, so that's all I got for today as far as some of the promo. So please tap in with SMPS HQ. We've got some really great programs happening. All right, enough. I got to get my guest on today. So today we're going to be talking about presentation skills, and it's so funny. My guest today, we talked first to figure out what are we going to talk about. There's so many things that we could discuss, and presentation skills rose to the top. So I want to welcome. Some of you may have seen her CLS, which is Chapter Leadership Symposium, or in some of the regional conferences around. I'd like to welcome Maisha Christian to the show.
Danielle, you're awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm
Let's
so
have a
excited.
good time.
Yes. Look, if you know Maisha, say it in the comments. I feel like you do. Okay. I know the first time I saw you present was the earlier this year in Omaha. And I was like, wow, she is herself. And that was just so nice to see. And people really felt that. So it makes sense that we're talking about presentation skills today.
Yes. And honestly, that is the biggest compliment to say that in the initial interaction that we had, you just felt like, oh, this is a really authentic, genuine presentation of who she is. Like that is the biggest compliment ever. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I know we're going to be talking about presentations and all of those things, but I think it's so much deeper than that. So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But before we do that, I want to know about your story. How did you how did you get to where you are now with career coaching? What was your journey like?
So I am always first and foremost a marketing professional, and my background was in AEC industry, so that's been a big part of my experience, and also my participation in S&PS, marketing director, kind of all of the things. And as you know, we work very intimately with people, right?
Mhm.
We're learning about their skills, we're learning about how they fit and work well in teams. And so that started to leverage very much into just talking with people, talking with our team members, meeting, kind of connecting with them one on one. The president of the company I was working at the time said, charged me with spending about 70% of my time really just talking with people. And I needed skills to do that well. And so I, started to learn about how to listen very actively, how to reflect back, how to synthesize, how to help people navigate conflict. Um, I actually didn't start out with the intention of being a career coach. I was working as a marketing professional. I actually applied to speak at an S&PS regional conference simply because I wanted free registration.
That'll do it.
Yeah, and got selected, and that really opened the door to my speaking experience, which I was doing while I was working. And then when I left that firm and started my own company, speaking and coaching were really the key components of that. So it's been somewhat of a untraditional kind of path into entrepreneurship, but very much rooted in a lot of the same skills that started with my previous work life, if I can
Mhm.
say it that way.
That's so interesting because we've talked a couple of times now, and I really enjoy our conversations because for those that don't know, I've done some speaking as well, and it was the same thing for me. I was like, well, I want to go to a regional, and I want to try. I want to see how it works, and it just stuck. It stuck. So it's interesting how the speaking aspect is so impactful, but it's not just in front of a room. It's one on one, like you were saying too. So let me ask you this: what makes a good speaker, a good presenter?
I think to be a good presenter, you have got to know what your job is. And what I mean is, why are you being asked to stand on this stage or in this room in front of this group of people? Are you there to inspire? Are you there to educate? Are you there to um, inform, right? Are you there to course correct? Like, what is your actual job? Are you there to unify people, right? Are you there to equip them? I think that is the first and foremost thing, because anybody can get on a stage and talk.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of bad talks.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it wasn't bad because the content, it wasn't bad because necessarily the delivery wasn't very good. It was that they didn't understand who was in the audience and why they were invited to speak to us.
That's interesting because I think that is what you not only have to ask, but just know. Because there's been times that I haven't really been told what that actually is, and you have to figure it out as you go. I've been to a couple of maybe a regional, just figuring like, okay, watching, paying attention to the room, being very self-aware of myself, but also, looking at other people and figuring out like, oh, okay, I'm here to inspire today. Let's do that. And also, I need a little bit of that too.
Yeah,
So I'm going to do that.
yeah.
So now, what? I think I already said I love how you present. So what do you do to prepare? Like, there's so many people like, speaking is terrifying to a lot of people.
It is.
So, and I mean, I am grateful that that is not something that I have experienced,
Yeah,
right? But I know that it is very real and I don't take it lightly. So what's your feeling about speaking and then how do
yeah.
you prepare?
I mean, I wanna talk to the people in the audience right now who are, like, getting sweaty armpits and mouth is dry at the just think
Right, I
like,
just
I text
thinking
just think about it. I texted someone the other day and, I said, "Hey, are you going to this event? It's an event in Vegas in a couple months." And she said, "Not at this time." And I said, "Oh, well, they have a call for speaker out." And she said, "Thank you for letting me know I need to avoid that call." And I busted out laughing, and I wrote her back and I said, "That is the most gracious way to say I would rather die.
right.
I would rather die than
Yeah,
stand
yeah.
on the stage for 20 minutes and talk about my project." And I get it. I am aware that I am anointed and I have a gift. Also, I work hard.
Mhm.
I work hard to prepare. I don't take lightly that people invite me and then are willing to pay me to stand in front of people that carry a mission and a vision for their organization. So for me, a big part of it is I like to have a very rich conversation with whoever the host is. And one question I will ask is, what is your vision for this event? What's your vision? Because that starts to answer that question, why they're hiring me, like what my job is, right? And how I fit into that. I think the second thing is where am I in the day and in the rest of the program? Because that also gives hints to like what my job is. So for example, if you are going to a conference and whether you are keynoting or you are in a breakout session, if you are early in the day, that's probably a time where people can do a little bit more thinking. It's probably a time where they have a little bit more social energy, right? They're caffeinated. And so that's a great time for like fun. It should be a little faster, right? We're having a good time. If you're there at lunch, sometimes that's a little harder because people are distracted, right? They're eating. It's actually a social hour. And so they want to talk to the person next to them, but they're listening to you. And so you've got to be very engaging, right? It needs for them to feel like you and them are having a conversation. And then you've got to pull their energy back up because everybody gets the sleepy digestions,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Afternoon, they're putting you in the afternoon spot because they want people to stay and not dip out early, right? And so you've got to give them something that they are not getting anywhere else in this event to make them want to stay. So that's a timing thing. The other prep thing is who is the audience? Who who are these people, right? Even in a virtual space, which is actually a lot easier, I will ask who's in the room, right? So I will even ask that now. Who's in the room? We asked earlier where are you from, but how many years of experience do you have? Or what is your title? If we're in an industry that I know, that clues me in of what type of examples to give.
Mm.
That helps me to adjust so that it's relevant to them. I am never here because I love the sound of my voice. I am always here to share and to offer something that helps someone else go from 4 to 7 very quickly, or from to 7 very quickly. That's why I'm here. So I'm giving you what I think could be helpful to help you connect those dots and close those gaps faster than reading a book, taking a class, and having 9 meetings with your manager.
I love that. There's so many things that I just took from it. One is really about the timing of the meetings. I didn't really think about that. Especially when it comes to conferences or, you really need to know when you're speaking and thinking about what kind of energy you need to bring toward that. A few of my uh things that I do to prepare are I stand in Superman pose. Yep, I do Superman pose. Actually did it. I do it before every AEC Unplugged, just to, it's what I share with people, especially like, do I get nervous? Of course. I feel that because I care. And so, it's like, what is your handicap and how do you want to use that? For me, it ignites me to want to do well and like stand in it and be in my power, because I think that that's another piece of it, is that authenticity, that knowing who you are when you get in front. um and then the other thing that I do, I'll walk around whatever room that I'm in, just to like, feel it out. Like, what does it take energetically for me to get to the back of this room?
Hmm.
What does that feel like? And just kind of see what's going on. Oh, I see we got people from Atlanta, Los Angeles, and Jacksonville, Florida. Wow. Thank you for jumping in. I had to shout you all out. I had to. It's live. That's what we do. So is there any tips that you would give someone that, like, let's say this isn't even a conference. I'm speaking
Yes.
and I'm supposed to be giving a presentation to my team and I'm
Yes.
nervous. Help me. What would you say to them?
Yes. I that is actually much more, what's the word I want to use? When you have the opportunity to give a personal presentation, personal meaning it's you, it's probably much more impactful to your career in small rooms than it is from big stages.
Mm,
Okay. Yeah,
right.
take that in. Because those small rooms are probably in places and spaces where when you leave the room, the conversation about you, your fit in your team, your fit in the company, your pathway of success are being considered. Ain't nobody thinking about you when you get on the stage and then you wow them when you get off the stage. They're
Right.
hungry. They're
Mhm.
moving on to the next thing. But in those small rooms, folks are talking about you. Here are things that I often see: overthinking, right? The overthinking of wanting to put all of the stuff into the presentation. So
Right.
you've got 30 minutes and you are trying to unpack, you know, the relativity of gravity in
Yeah.
30 minutes. You can't do it, right?
Right.
So I think first of all, it's learning how to edit. And I'm speaking to marketing professionals who do this very well for other people's work, very well for other people's, what they're hearing, what they're seeing. Not this, not that. But it takes so much more discipline to do that for yourself, to say, although I love this for this audience and for this purpose and for this amount of time, I got to cut it. I think also many times people are tied so into their corporate brand that they don't know how to present authentically for themselves. And so it falls into the same presentation outline format. It falls into the same, this is how we open, this is how we close, right? And it's like you almost lose your creativity to do something unique or different at the very moment where doing something unique and different helps you stand out.
Right.
So, some tips for that, I think number one, um, you can watch TED Talks, right? And just observe, don't so much take in the information, but observe how people use the time. Just observe how they use their time. There's actually a book, and I don't know the title of it, but there's actually a book where they give you outlines of how to do TED Talks. And for short presentations, it's a really good tool because it shows you just different ways that you can organize your content in your time. I think the other thing is being really clear about what you want the next step to be, right? So if you have the opportunity to stand in front of your C-suite, your directors, any group of people within your organization, it can't just be this could have been an email. It can't be you just sharing information, right? What is actually a next step, a commitment you're asking people to make? What is a recommendation that you want to make that you're trying to move forward? That is where, apart from the information, you're also now demonstrating a leadership ability to move us forward in an initiative or on purpose, as opposed to, all right, guys, Let me know if you have any questions. And they go, yeah, well, that was great. Thanks.
Right.
That was a lot, but watch the replay. Come back and watch the replay.
No, look, we have so much. You got to learn the rules so you know where you can break them. I love that. I love that. So look, when you were talking, there was I always speak from a content space. That's what I do. That's what I love. And one thing is this concept of always answering what, so what, and now what.
Yes.
What's the topic? So what? Who cares? Like I think that's what you were talking about editing. Like who care? Like I know I care from the depths of my soul. I believe in this, and I want to talk about why we chose this color.
Yeah.
Nobody, but nobody cares. And
Right.
so it's important for that. And then to your point, what do you want people to do? Now what? Now what? And as marketing professionals, business developers, we know what a call to action is, and that's really what it comes down to. So you also spoke to something that I get from you. I noticed right off the top was authenticity. And so can you speak to how important it is to speak from an authentic place? Like why is that so
It's important to be authentic because authenticity is sustainable.
wow.
That's it.
Mhm.
You can't fake for a long time, you
Right.
know? If you fake in a room and then you walk out of the room, it's something different. Or from the stage you're so personable, and then when people see you somewhere else, you are cold and standoffish. That's undermining. That's
Mm.
undermining, and you know what I mean, who you are. So when you're authentic, it's just sustainable. If you're a jerk, be a jerk all the time, right? If you are maybe a little bit more timid and you're not a big personality, right? There's nothing wrong with you. That's how you were created. There's nothing wrong with you. It's okay to be that way in as you ebb and flow, but it's okay to be that way. I actually am an introvert, and so extroversion exhausts me. You probably will find me in the lobby talking with someone, or in the restaurant talking with someone. I'm never at the party. When you guys do those parties with the backdrops and the photos, I'm like, look at all these. They had so much fun. I was not there. I was hiding with one or two other people, and we had
Right.
a great time. We just
Right.
pictures,
Right. Which
right?
is right.
But it's authentic and it's
Mhm.
genuine. It's not
Yeah.
because I'm standoffish. It's because that environment overwhelms me and it makes me tired.
I totally get that. Once I understood what extrovert and introvert really meant was like, how do you charge up? I think people assume that if you can speak and you're personable, that means you're an extrovert, and that just is not the case. As I go, I'm like, oh, AEC Unplugged, and then I'm like, it's time to go in the show.
Because I will also tell you, when you are center stage, and again, I'm using that very broadly, right? This could be in front of your team. This could be in front of your board, right? But when you are center stage, you are carrying a lot of energy, right? And this isn't even like a woo. This
Yeah,
is reality that you are carrying the energy of the room. You could be carrying the energy of six people. You could be carrying the energy of 600 people. You're exuding a lot of energy. And so the recovery for that, some people need to go party it out. Some people, I am some people, want to go lay down.
yeah, yes,
I want to go
absolutely,
lay down.
absolutely.
But I want to go back to the authenticity thing, only because I think when we look around, we actually see it more than we realize, right? I would say, Danielle, you are a very authentic person,
Thank
right? Your Even before we came on, when we were backstage, your interaction, right, with the team, just your personality, even via email, you just have this like calm, cool, like floating kind of thing going on,
thank
right?
you. Yes.
That's genuine to who you are.
Mhm.
That's genuine to who you are. We look at some business development people and we're like, all they do is go out and talk with people and da, da, da. That's literally what they're made for.
Right.
That's lit. This is who they are. And so I want to encourage people to know like there's nothing wrong with you. Um, if it feels like it's not a good fit, it may not be because you're not a good speaker. It may be because you're trying to step into a format or deliver content or come from a place of energy that isn't authentic. And you can adjust those things instead of adjusting yourself. Instead of changing yourself, you can change those things.
I totally agree with that. One of the things that someone has come to me like, oh, I feel like you could present on anything. And I said, actually, no, I can't. I have to really like it. I have to really love it and be connected to it. So sometimes I find that, oh, I just want to present, but you actually have to be connected to it for it to feel authentic in
Yeah,
any way. And I see here we have a few comments. There's some mic drops and some periods and some facts on here. So we're doing all right.
yeah,
And Hillary says, "Do business with your heart, and your messaging will always be real." I love that. Thank you so much for adding that, Hillary. So look, I think what I want to close here. Well, there's two other questions because we're just going
that's
to keep
fine.
moving. Is there's career growth, right? And a lot of us we're in our positions and we recognize that public speaking and presentations and doing those things are really important. So, how do you see that being a skill that's important to career growth?
It's a communication skill.
Mm,
That's all it is, right? And you can learn how to do it well. You've been in really bad meetings. I'm talking meetings where you're like, why are we here? Who's actually running this thing? Who do we have an agenda? What's happening? You probably also have been in good meetings where it's facilitated well, the timing is well, people knew why they were there, they knew what content, you know what I mean? And so you can learn how to lead a meeting well, and that is a form of leadership and communication, right? And project management. You can also learn how to speak well, and it's going to take different things for different people. One reason why I have to work really hard is because I talk too much. I talk a lot naturally, so for me it's learning when not to talk, when
mm,
not to speak, right? And that is discipline. So it's really about finding, I think, safe spaces, opportunities to present things that matter to you and to get feedback from people who care about you.
yes. Uh, that is great. That is great. So I think one, I tell me how you were enjoying this episode. Those that are watching, I'm learning so much as we're going, and I want to close with the same question that I've closed with every one of these episodes, which is, what's your words of wisdom that you want to leave with our viewers here today that are in the AEC that want to grow, want to speak, or whatever it is? What are some words of wisdom you would want to share?
I want to encourage every single person to submit a talk topic for your regional conference. That's the word of wisdom. Is try.
Try.
Try, right? I think first of all the practice of putting together and filling out the call for a speaker helps you to start to think about what is it that I like? What am I interested in? What could I talk about? And then put it out there before you invest a lot of time in developing this talk. And then when you get selected, right? If you get selected, great. Now you can go to the next step. You go to the next step. If you don't get selected, you can reach out to someone in your chapter and say, "Hey, can you just help me know like what I could do better or what didn't stand out?" And so if this is something that you really want to do, just take that first step, right? If you have opportunities at your job, you guys have ERG groups, if you have working groups or committees, say, "Hey, I want to do a 15-minute." 15 minutes is actually hard, so you might want to do a little longer. You might want to do like 30. I want to do like a 30-minute talk on just some of the initiatives we've been working on out of our department. Nothing hard, easy lift. I just want to share so you can practice. How do I start? How do I get out? How do I answer questions? What did that feel like? Ooh, it was 9 people. That was a lot. Oh my God, it was 2 people. It's great, right? You can fill out what your experience is, and then you just grow from there. But first steps first. Just try.
Try. I love that. Thank you so much, Maisha. And by the way, if you are going to be in Amplify AEC, you will see Maisha on the main stage with Damien, and it's going to be a great talk, a great panel on the main stage. So I'm excited about that. And also, you are a part of the Pinnacle Learning speakers. So if you were interested in that, learn more, join in for Pinnacle Learning Amplify. Thank you so much, Maisha, for being here. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Danielle. And thank you to everyone who took time out of your day to join us.
Yes, thank you. So look, we've done another episode. I am so grateful. Something that I gained from this is to try, just try. Um, it's my mission to that I hope that this not only inspires you, but maybe it inspires you to be something different or do something different. And so you can do it. You can try. And so that's my little spiel for the end. But again, because this is what I'm here for, register for Amplify AEC. All right. Oh, that was great. My producer Devin knew exactly where I was going. It was like the timing. So make sure to register for Amplify AEC. We also have Pinnacle Learning. Look into our online learning. There's so many great programs. You have access to so many things as an SMPS member. So please do that. And thank you for joining. And we will have our next episode on June 20th. And that will be about project management. Really about project management and how it can enhance our lives. So that's going to be great. It's going to be great. So thank you so much for tuning in. And we will see you next time on June 20th for episode 7. Thanks.